Editor Newware here. Listen, you guys, these video interviews are long. And to be fair, all of them are long. I mean, I've had ones that were an hour to 4 hours long. So I'm breaking them up. However, I couldn't tell you how many videos this particular interview is going to be in, but I try to break them up between 20 and 30 minutes. So I'll leave a link in the description for the playlist for this interview, as well as the sequence in which this interview video is. I hope you guys enjoy, so let's just hop right back into it. So you touched a little bit on like getting rid of some of the products, right?
Yes.
And it's always interesting because you hear a lot, like some people go dumpster diving, right? And they find all kinds of crazy stuff behind some of these stories, you know what I'm saying? And part of that movement that people are running into is like, why don't you just donate it? Like, why don't you give it to people that need it? And it's like, you said it kind of shortly, like, either I have to toss it or I might give it to some homeless people. It's kind of like, those are some of the more intricate issues when it comes to owning your own business, especially business where you couldn't give away some of the product. Yeah. And I think it's really nice and noble of you to kind of give that and donate it out on the occasion. It's definitely not all. It doesn't sound like it's every time, and no one should expect that because it's still a business.
It's definitely not every time.
Right.
And I just got to touch on this really fast is that
it is noble, and I thank you for saying that. It's appreciative for the people out there doing that. But Minnesota is very funny when it comes to giving food to the homeless. There is that work for a lot of nonprofit organizations and some scratch kitchens that cook for the homeless 7 days a week. There's a reason why the homeless can get food any and everywhere, all in the entire state of Minnesota. It makes it very hard for people that has extra food to donate to these people. You can no longer, especially here in the cities, just go up and just offer food to the homeless and leave pans of food out. It needs to be labeled. It needs to be dated. It needs to be made by a specific time. It needs to be at a specific temperature. And if you have like 10 pans of food, you can only donate about 20% of it. They have a percentage, and then you have to fill out forms for it. You have to do a whole process if you want to donate food these days versus 10, 15, 20 years ago, how we grew up. We just saw on TV about people being nice and giving people food.
Right.
These days, you have to have all forms filled out, has to be the right temperature, has to be the right no bacteria, has to come from a kitchen that's commercially licensed, has to have all of these things attached to it. And if you have like 20 pans of food, like I say, you're only legally required to only sell about 10% of it, which means even if I go get out of those 20 pans, even if I can only give you 2, that 18 pans I have to throw away.
This is crazy. Why does that make sense? Why does it make sense? Why, like, who came up with this idea? What's the purpose of it? You know what? I have my reservations on that.
Police and being humanitarian in this millennium.
I can't stand for that. I have my own reservations on homelessness and the systems and institutions behind it. And that's something I didn't know. And listen, I knew a lot about a lot of that. Again, I tell people all the time, you want to have a conversation about homelessness in the state of Minnesota, and you wanted to do that to me 7 years ago, you would have got shut down, right? Nowadays, it's like I'm learning still more and more. It's just what I've known of then, it affected how I feel about the whole institution of it today. And knowing that, it's like there's two sides to every story. I hated the government side of it. I hated the systems that were in place that were for them.
Yep.
I've also hated some of the things that they were doing themselves. It's 2020 kind of ruined it a lot for a lot of people. There's a lot of things going on, and a lot of what do you call those pop-up camps that you got, homeless encampments and stuff like that.
Ransack, and people lose their license. They lost their social securities. They lost everything that they need to try to even go get housing, which is scamming itself. When they shut down in 2021, when that blistering winter, when they shut down the trains at 8 p.m. because they were tired of the homeless sleeping on the trains throughout the late hours and the early mornings of the night. So they cut the trains off and start shutting down at 8 p.m. So many people got frostbite and walking around with dead legs and dead extremities on their hands and dying and things like that and overfilling in the hospitals. All because they refused to let the trains run all throughout the night like it normally supposed to, just because they didn't want the homeless to be overrunning the train so they can have somewhere warm, talking outside where it's negative 22 degrees. And yeah, man, we can go on for days about this.
Yeah, don't even get it. Don't get it started. Let's quickly talk a little bit about the the side of the happy side of the business, right?
Okay.
So we'll talk a little bit about the happiness and the sadness side of it. But I'm curious to know, what are some of the issues you face with an angry customer that just wasn't happy with your product?
To be honest, I haven't dealt with too many angry customers about anything about my Popeyes or products or even my food. The only thing I may have dealt with from a customer was they noticed maybe an inconsistency. Maybe something was as creamy as the last one they had. Maybe something was uh, you know, one of the stickers fell off, so they didn't know what temperature to heat a Popeye, things like that. I haven't dealt with somebody that was just like, I can't believe it. This is horrible service and yada yada yada. Um, Honest to God, the only time I've gotten disgruntled customers is when I've had big events like when I do the black market events in Minneapolis at the farmers market, and the line was literally 3 blocks down, and I sold out, and so I still had like 85 people in line, and they get disgruntled and upset and walk away, but not because I did anything bad, just because they were in line for 20 minutes and still didn't get to eat my food because I sold out. So I thank God that I haven't had to deal with nobody like that, really upset for quite a long time. And if I have, I probably don't remember. It's been about 3 years, but man, you meet a lot of people in 3 years.
That's right.
So, yeah, man, I, I I do my best to give the best customer service I possibly can. So if somebody's unsatisfied with something, I either give them a percentage for next time off, or I'll give them a refund, which I've never had to do, or I'll give them a free product if I see them again. I always trying to make it. You always want to make it up to them because growing your fan base is so important. From when you're an entrepreneur, you have to build your audience from scratch. So anybody that chooses to come over and talk to you and buy your product or ask for it outside the country, if you got to ship it, keep those people in your corner as much as possible. Because even today, with all the technology and different areas that we got in 2023, word of mouth is still the fastest spreading thing.
Absolutely.
What blows
Absolutely.
because we're all attached to our phones, but word of mouth has still boosted my business faster than any other form of Instagram post, Facebook post, social media, reel, anything. Crazy.
I've almost every interview I've had where it had anything to do with somebody needing to work with their hands in specific to sell a product, every last one of them all said the same thing. I did good work, and this customer shared it with their family and their friends, and I've been busy ever since.
Every single time.
Every time. And that comes down to some of the most important skills when you own a business, or if you're the face of something. It's like, can you communicate effectively? How is your what do you call that, bargaining skills? Like, can you de-escalate a situation? Can you sell the product properly? Can you communicate healthily? People talk about, there's language, right? There's Black Bubonics, there's, speaking white, all that. No. Can you speak English? Do you know how to speak the word of business? You know what I'm saying? Because this is a business. You want to be able to sell your product to any and everybody. It's cool if you have a market that you want to reach and it's just a specific group of people. But I love asking the run risk question is, if somebody else who didn't look like you came into your business and wanted to buy your product, you going to take their money?
I understand. I understand, 100%.
There you go. Because money's money, right?
Money is money.
You're in the business of making money. You like what you do. You have a product. You invest in that product, and you invest in yourself. Why limit yourself?
Exactly. And when you're beginning, you don't know everything. So of course you're going to start off small-minded, and you can take it there. I'm kind of on the opposite end. I mean, I still have a lot to learn, but I didn't want to I had a vision of who I wanted to sell it to. That didn't end up happening. I realized, like I said, I made this. Look at the names of my Popeye. Look at the metaphors. I did it for a reason because I knew, and I did it in a climate that I knew that it will always sell. So like what I did was genius and smart and good on marketing, so that no matter how long I do this for, I'm gonna have a clientele and a population that's gonna want this product. Like I said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel; you just have to remix it. Talking to people and de-escalating stuff, like you said, all correct. It's about having the gift of gab. And you may not have it in the beginning, man, but if you do it right with the right people, every time you interact with the customer or clientele or somebody in the network is also a business, you're practicing all those things you mentioned. So you're right, man.
Hey, one of my favorite quotes all the time is, you never know who you're talking to. Hey, it could be a good thing or a threat,
Right.
But the reality of it is, I mean, you really don't.
No.
Somebody could walk through your door, see your product, love it, and that might be somebody who can actually say, "Hey, I know someone who owns a business who will be happy to have your product in our store." You never know. There might be somebody who knows someone who's just like, they just looking for a good meal, and maybe they come back, share that with their family, your restaurant. Now you got to sell for $400 or $500 because they want to, they want you for their wedding or their event, whatever the case is. Word of mouth.
Exactly.
But you were nice to them. They liked your food. That's all it took.
Right.
That was it. They can have good food, but a bad attitude with a small business is gonna ruin you.
Exactly.
This ain't McDonald's. This ain't Burger King, and this definitely ain't no Popeyes.
You know what I'm saying? My table, I'm like, what you want?
Listen, that small business has got to adapt the attitude of Chick-fil-A. And that's my favorite quote.
Chick-fil-A,
you know what I'm saying?
Example.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Anything else you would like with that, sir? Yes, ma'am. Name. You know what I'm saying? But you go to like a Popeye. What? What'd you say?
Right.
Say that again. No, we ain't got that. Like, no, that's not. You're not gonna live. You're not gonna survive. You know what I'm saying? It's the attitude. It's the presentation. One of the final questions I got for you, right?
Go ahead.
So when you make a product, do you consider the presentation to the customer, right? Because you talked about, okay, the box has to look a certain way, your logo plays into it, the marketing side of everything, but the product, because every chef, right? You see the chef shows and stuff like that, the way they make the plate and they present it to you. That's what I'm talking about.
So my Popeyes,
It's impossible to do that because they come frozen. I had several markets where I would heat them up in advance, but that became problematic transporting them a lot because they would stack. I have to stack them, but again, the top is plastic, so they're warm, and plastic, as you know, will start to melt in on it. So that was very challenging, but people still liked them because at least they were warm. And because the pan is foil, I used to have an old school microwave oven. Mm-hmm. I would heat them up that way, but it would take too long. Then I realized I could put them in the air fryer when the air fryer became a thing. It's like I make it about 1 day at a time. But it did cut the time in like third how fast I could heat one up. The point I'm making is my Popeyes all look the same on top because the crust covers everything. So the presentation, all you see is the logo, the lid, of course, the label, and then you see the crust. Now, whether it comes frozen or it's cooked, at that point, every single customer just has to make a decision just to try one. Once I tell them, this is why they're having the gift of gab matters, because I can visually paint a picture and the people of what the food is going to be, how good it's going to hit, yada, yada, yada. Especially they walking around and seeing somebody else walk past them with a pie in the hand and a fork, which they normally do when I'm in markets. And so they're like, oh, they look good. And then a lot of times people come to my table because they already see people eating it. And, oh, they look good. What's that? I'm like, oh, this. You can find it at this table right over there. You over there. So long story short, when it comes to the Popeye product, they all look the same. I can't really present it to them. I may make videos about what it looks like and take pictures and post them about the inside before I close them up. That's the best I can do. When I'm making meals or having plates and things of that nature, people can always literally see because I have them in a catering shape about what they can get. Certain people don't want to buy anything and like, can I see it first? Can I see the mac and cheese first? Can I see chicken first? You know what I'm saying? You can do that.
Hey, you can't eat at everybody's house.
So, yeah, I'm not mad at it. I let that lid up and I'll see the eye like, oh, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. And for the most part, man, most people have been satisfied with my cooking now, unless they're like blindly lying straight to my face. I could literally honestly say 98.5% of people who ever have my food absolutely love it and always come back.
I can contest to that. Hey, that catfish,
and I've never cooked catfish a day in my life because I don't eat it. True story.
Wild.
I don't like it.
It's wild. I like it though. I guess my second to last question for you. So how'd you come up with the name?
Chef at the left, super easy. I'm a chef, I'm left-handed. I'm always been a person that's super witty, gimmicks out the wazoo in my head. The names of all my products resemble that. It didn't take me super long to come up with my own name for Chef at the Left. Because like I said before that, it was a cooking class. They featured chefs of the Twin Cities. And after that, I was like, my mom and grandma used to look at me like, there you go with that left hand in the kitchen again. They be asking me for help and stuff. I'm like, I didn't think it mattered which hand you cook it with. It's your dominant hand. But, we always got to tease people, how we go in our culture. You're always teasing us about whatever. So, yeah, Chef with the Left. Everything was real easy. It runs smoothly. It looks nice with the font and all that whatnot created it. And that's how I came up with it.
Man, show that logo one more time for everybody.
One more time, absolutely. So this is the updated logo that I made as of like, I believe 6 months ago. And if I could find it, I'll show the old logo as well. So this is the updated logo as about 5-6 months ago. That's shelf at the left. That's all typed in a regular English font there. But before, it used to look like, well, this has stuff all over it. This is a really, really old logo. So that was my old logo, shelf at the left. See the spoon rotating to the left. Welcome to the Pie Life was my tag because I was doing my Popeyes at the time. As you can see, the prices on there. So, and then welcome to the Pie Life, and I called myself Pie Life. What did I call myself? Pie Life Poppies. I was gonna get on the bomber jacket eventually, but I still probably will. But yeah, man, it's just all about marketing and just selling yourself because you are the face of your product. Your product is not just the face of your product, but you are the face of your product as well. So everywhere you see me, they're like, oh, there's a pie. They used to be like, oh, there's a Popeye dude. Like, now got a nice ring to it. I like Pie Life Poppy, talking Pie Life Poppy.
That's what's up, man. I even with me when I made Chocolate Espresso Podcast, you know what I'm saying? I had to look into, is this taken? Because I wanted to make sure when I go places, LLC, marketing, trademarking.
Yep.
If you Google it, what's going to pop up? Nothing but chocolate espressos. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I want to make sure when you Google chocolate espresso, I want to be one of the first ones. I want to pay Google to make me the first one. But you know what I'm saying? Podcast is going to be the next part that's going to pop up. It's going to fill it in on Google search soon. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it was so easy because like I said, there's a lot of chocolate here and the espressos to wake everybody up. You need to be woken up. You need to see what I see. There's opportunities out there. And this is you're one of them.
Yeah.
Live in opportunity, man. It's a beautiful thing when businesses are thriving. Even in a thriving sense, it's like you make enough to keep your lights on, feed your family. You don't need to make $500,000. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Twisty.
And the goal is to get there.
Right.
But thriving is being able to continue to do it.
Loan people, if you're not watching this.
Yeah, continue to do it. Reinvest in your business. Make things more easier. You can market it. Go even further. And if you can continue to do that and it makes sense, and it's profitable, that's a thriving business as far as I'm concerned. So
the business plan has to be perfected. I'm not going to lie. When I started, I had no business plan. Even after I graduated from NDC, the Neighborhood Development Center, my business plan wasn't quite perfected. And then not because it was a bad business plan. There's nothing wrong with my business plan. It's just I had no funds to back a business, which don't do what I do, y'all. Like a lot of us come from, not poverty, but we don't come from bank accounts that our grandpa gave us at a trust fund that's like 40,000. Like a lot of businesses start off that way, and Kickstarter still exists. GoFundMe still exists. And, I don't have an ego. I say I can't go do it. I haven't done one yet, but for reasons I know, and I guess I could, but, definitely try to get your business credit up because business credit is different from actual credit. Get a business bank account separate, get your EIN, get all those things, the LLC. It doesn't have to say LLC when you do your business. It doesn't have to have that attached. That's a misconception. All these things are important, and to get the funds. You're not going to see the funds right away at all. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they always say it takes any business the first 5 years, and then that 5th year, you'll finally start seeing improvement and start scaling up and things like that. But those first 4.5 years are going to run you through it, even with a solid business plan. For us, we don't come from money, so you're going to have to scrap together and things like that. But if it's a solid business plan, if you have a way with words, if you could paint people a picture and a vision, if you have your target scale down, if you have your target audience down, if you know exactly who to hit with your products, if your products has a good mission statement, a vision statement, if you're actually solving an issue, which is the point of entrepreneurship, to solve an issue, then people are going to co-sign your idea. They're going to ride with you, and they're going to put their money behind where your mouth is and help propel your dream into heights that you probably would have never reached. And that's the wave I'm riding on right now. So everybody out there that may see this podcast in the future, if you're entrepreneurship or thinking about it, stay the course, but do the right thing every single time. Don't skip any steps. All the details matter.
Absolutely, dude. Last question. It's a beautiful question, though, and then we'll wrap it up here.
All right.
Do you remember the first time you made a sale, and how did that make you feel?
Oh, yeah.
First time I made a sale was right across the street over here at the Case building. Janet is a great person that used to run the Black business, his beautiful markets over there before it became the Black Market Events. And she was the first person and actually the only person to this day that actually bought contracts for her kids so I can go to their house and teach them cooking classes when I was featured chef of the Twin Cities. Nobody else. They called me, they signed up, and all that whatnot, but the funds never came through, none of that. It was COVID, so it was understandable. She's the only person that did it. I went to her house, ridiculously beautiful house, by the way, somewhere out there in the middle of Minnetonka. I'll never forget it, like a house out of a magazine. I was like, excuse me, no, big windows everywhere, and I taught her son and her daughter chicken Alfredo. With garlic bread and salad. They it. That was the first time I made a sale in that business. With that business, by the way. And yeah, man, that's motivated me to do a lot more. So that was my very first time, never forget.
Remember what I said though?
Yeah.
You never know who you're talking to, and all it takes is one person.
Exactly.
It's a life-changing event, was it not? And you know what? I remember my first video that I dropped, and it was it was the other day. It was actually Friday. When this comes out, it wouldn't be this Friday, but the Friday when we're recording this, just know a couple of days ago, I dropped a video, and that first night, 195 views. And that seems so small to probably the millions of people who probably get millions of views. But for a channel just to have started and get that one video out, and it already got 100 in under 24 hours, I mean, that's nice. Beautiful, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, I know several artists that have like 10 views right now for a music video they dropped a month ago. So it happened.
Yeah. But they feel great that they got something.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, grateful for it.
It's just that, like you said, celebrate the small wins. And that's a note to myself too, because I'm always going. So I don't always get a chance to do that, but yeah.
All right. Go ahead and tell everybody how they can find you if you want them to, and where they can, and what they can contact you about. So that's important.
Absolutely. Chef with the Left, Midwestern Cuisine. I'm on Facebook at Chef with the Left Kitchen LLC. I have to change that, but you can find me on Facebook at Chef with the Left. Excuse me. You won't find any other business with that name, so it'll be easy to type in. All one word, CHEFWITDALEFT. All one word, Chef with the Left Kitchen. Also find me Chef with the Left LLC on Instagram as well. You can follow me. I'm always posting a week in advance at a minimum when I'm going to do an event. I don't do anything out of my own unless you specifically want my pie products. That you can contact me with a DM, a phone call, email, however you choose to reach me. chefwiththeleft@gmail.com. Phone number 763-238-0134. Otherwise, hit me through Instagram or Facebook and message me about the Popeyes that's available. I'll tell you what I have. But if you want to keep in tune and catch me at pop-up events and markets and things like that, just watch out for my Facebook post and my Instagram post. I do have a website. I'm working out some kinks right now to get it back up and running, to have all my inventory fully on there for my Popeye products only. And if you want a catering inquest, have a catering inquiry and a request, you can always reach me via email too. I answer my phone and my email almost all times of the hours of the day, every single day. I'm checking emails and phone numbers. So just know if you do send me a message, it will not go unnoticed. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, listen, thank you for watching this video. Plenty of shorts to come out of it. Reach out to my boy. He's doing great work. His food is top notch. I'm not exaggerating. Everybody wants to say that, but man, he had a whole room full of people saying it's good food. And listen, we picky eaters. We some picky eaters. If we can eat somebody's food and say it's good, that means something. So
that means a lot. Appreciate it.
Look back. First part of the video, I talked to y'all about this worm situation. Listen, that fish's girlfriend's brother's sister who realized when that boy ran out on them fish eggs and didn't take care of them. I love you just as much as them if you like, share, and subscribe, because that's going to be me. I'm always going to be on you if you don't like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. We really appreciate it. A special shout out to Green Screen Studios here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Listen, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you can direct message us either on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. It's always going to be chocolate_espresso_. Listen, we really appreciate you. I said it once, I said it twice. I'm going to say it a billion times if that's what it takes. if you guys want to reach out to us, especially if you know anyone or if maybe you want to be interviewed about your job, the goal is to really teach a lot of youth about the different opportunities that are available to them. College is great. It's always going to be great. Not everybody wants to go to college, or maybe college just isn't on the table right now. So I want to push as much content that pertains to jobs and jobs that may or may not require college. Maybe you just need to network. Maybe you just got to put a lot of work into the beginning as an entry-level person. But, you know, I really look forward to producing as many interviews as I can and posting it. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.